Hello my crafty friends, it's Krista here from Second Chance Creation. And yes, you can see Sophie renovating her bed. She loves it's an old bedspread and got it from the op shop. I get her a new one each year, ready for winter, and she just plays in it. So you might get a little bit distracted. Okay, so now as promised, I've got this video is for what I do with calendars and also what I do with gutted books. And I can't remember whether I showed you this, but I know someone asked me about it. I was lucky enough to get this huge calendar from a motel last year, and the pictures are okay, but you know, you can use it to fussy cut and use it as a background. That's why I originally got it said yes, because it's blank on the underside, and I thought it'd make great tags, you know, where you just cut little bits out and put your own sort of collage on it. But what I've done, I've experimented with a little bit, because I ended up with some unusual napkins and also some wrapping paper. And I thought I'll just put it on here, so if I ever need something, I can just chop it up. Because it's blank underneath, you know, I can sew my coffee stain paper on it or leave it white. So I'll just walk you through it. Here I've decoupaged a napkin of a map, and I left this part of the trees as they are. I'll just see if I can zoom in a little bit so you could see. Okay. And so yeah, and then I had another bit of napkin left over, and I've just popped it on there, and you can just see the writing there, just there, still comes through the napkin. I thought that was pretty cool. And then of course on the other side, I had the napkin that was sort of cut away from here. I've popped it on there. Just see if I can make it so that you see. Just here, it's got boats and that on it. As you can see, I've already chopped a little bit off. So that's one page. Here I've had some music paper, napkins of a music paper, and I just popped that on there, because then in the background you can just see these markings, and I thought that was pretty cool. Here you've actually got the opera house here. I'll just zoom in on that one so you can see the outline of the opera house. And you know, and I use them so that if I need something, I can just chop it up and use it in another project. Here's, I've got some napkin with the Buddha, and you've got the cane and the bamboo. And I thought, well, and I used one of these to make a tag, I think, in my last video. So yeah, so that gets chopped up. Here I've used a napkin. I'll just zoom back out again. Here I've used it, no, a bit more. Here I've used a napkin where had 4 different lots, and yeah, so I can just make it into tags or cut out what I wish, because you know, it is a blank underneath, so you know, it's not going to hurt. Here I've got some music notes. I really like this scene. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'll see if I can zoom in. Just here. Okay, so it's got the sea there and bit of landscape there, so that would make a nice effect of a tag as well if you were doing like a travelling journal that I'm doing at the moment for someone. So, and here's some tissue paper. I love this. I don't have much left. I think I've got a little piece like this left, so I haven't put it on here, but I've used this, and I've already used some of it as well. Now this is was wrapping paper, and I've just glued that on. I have used this in one of my projects, can't remember which one, and some more here. And the reason I've done it is I've just glued them on here because they were quite thin, and I thought, well, if I need something in that colour or something with a black background, I can cut it to size. I've got it here, and then I can just dolly them up, and I'll show you what I've done with 2 of these. So this one I've made, There it is there. I'll just see if I can come in a bit. Okay. And I've used this one, and I've popped on the back, I've popped on some of my painty papers. And then on the front, I've, because I've cut this out, I used some of my green painty papers, and then I used some yellow painty papers, and I just used my chalk to ink the edges, and I sewed around a really fine zigzag stitch and used a little snippet of lace with a bit of green on it, and I coloured in this butterfly so it sort of picks up a bit of yellow. Bit of my painty paper on the background. This is a snippet of the of a magazine, You Create the Best. I thought that was a pretty cool tag that can go in any sort of journal really. And then I used this bit of paper here, and I've made a little tag out of this one. So as you can see, it's in the background, and I covered it with a mesh bag from that held a lemon, so it's a yellow colour, and I thought that looked really cool. And I just got this little snippet here, the gold that glittered. It comes out of a magazine, because I've put a little cluster of gold trim, gold lace, and I just chopped up a little bit of this gold that I had left to make it sort of look a little bit wispy, and I popped on an old vintage button, and yes, and I stitched around it, and I used my embroidery thread, if you can see that embroidery thread. So I actually sewed it on this side with the yellow thread so that I would get the green embroidery thread, which is really chunky, around the edge. So this is what I make with my calendars. You know, it's a great one, but I was lucky enough to get this calendar off a motel last year. Here's some more papers. And then, now don't stress, then I tried my hand in stamping, ink spraying, and napkin. So I'll just see if I can zoom in, and I might even just zoom in this way if I can do it. Can I do it? I'm looking at this. This is a hummingbird. No, sorry ladies, I'm trying to get over here. This is a hummingbird of a napkin, and then I've put another hummingbird up here so you can only just see it. And then I had this napkin, it had all these orangey, dark sort of pinky butterflies, and I fussy cut them all out and popped them on here. The background is actually a black and white napkin. I'll just zoom out again. Is actually a black and white napkin, and I very rarely use black and white, so I thought, well, I use it as a background and I'll just play. And I played and played, and I really like this. And then of course I found a napkin that had the big butterflies on it, so I cut them out and popped them on here. And yes, it come out really, really lovely. And then I just went with my little I've got those tiny little spray bottles you get from the dollar shop, and I put a little bit of that paint in that you do tie-dyes with, and I diluted it, and then I just spritzed it sort of randomly on there. So I really like this. I might even make a journal cover out of this. I'll just zoom out so you can see it, the whole thing. So I might even just do a journal cover out of this. Just love how it turned out. So I'm really, really tickled pink of the effect. So yeah, so I'll just put this tripod back down. So that's what I do. And then I went really mad. I had all these random strips of paper, and I just glued them, you know, higgledy-pickledy, just all over the page. And again, I can use this as a background for something, but you know, at least they're out of the box, because they were driving me crazy. So yeah, so I've still got 1, 2, 3 pages, and then of course the calendar itself, because it's quite thick chipboard, you know, you could probably use it for a spine for a journal. So that's the calendar. And of course last year's calendar is Betty Boop, and I'm going to use that as well. You can use, you know, the full sizes are probably a bit hard to use because it's bigger than an A4, but some of them you can, you know, you can just put half in there or something like a travel journal. And then on the back of the calendars, I love using these. A lot of the calendars have got them where they've got the months on it, and they make great tags. They make great little ephemera for a journal, and even that, you know, make a great tag. So that's what I do with my calendars. And I'll show you what I do with my gutted books. And my gutted books, here they are, because I use the covers. I've actually decoupaged some pages, and I glued some pages together and decoupaged them with some napkins. So on here I've got on flowers and birds. So if I need a tag made, or I need to put something on a journal page, I can just flick through here, and they're already they're already glued onto. This light's not very good. Here we go. It's already glued to the book page. You know, so that part of the work is all done, and that's what I use them for. There's that lovely tissue paper. Just love that. It's really pretty. So that's what I use them for. And, you know, and then on the back sometimes I put different ones in as well. And I've put the bird ones in the back. So, you know, that can be, you know, 2 tags of something. It's a really pretty napkin there. And there I've just done half of one. And here are some more that I've decoupaged. Or I should say not decoupaged, I glued onto the book page, and you can just see the writing, the print through it. But yeah, I glued, some of them I did 2 pages, and some of them I did just 1. But most of them are all 2 pages. Isn't that pretty? So that's what I do. So I've got different themed ones that I've got here, because I've just sort of got them stacked on my shelf just like that in front of me, so that if I need something I can just grab it. So if I want something that's miscellaneous, I can just go in here. Oh dear, I made some collage here, so bear with me. So as you can see, I've just, you know, put some napkins and some pages, so it's all ready to go if I need it. And then what I've done is I did a bit of collaging, and I just wanted to do a bit of, just a bit of doodling, I suppose, instead of drawing like most artists do. I'll just zoom in there. I did a bit of collaging. So I went to my paper scrap box, and I got all various papers, and I did decoupage some bits on it, some napkin, but I used a stamp, and I fussy cut out a flower. You got music note. So it depends what sort of tag I want. You know, I can cut it and it's already there. Here's another one. This is a bit more out there. I used some stamps, a little cutout that I had. This is a scene of a bit of an ocean there. Sorry, I'm not in frame. Just here. And and I used another stamp just there, and a little bit of bling. Now I can cut that in half and use it as a tuck spot or a tag, but it's there, you know. If I get a brainwave of something, I'm thinking, oh. Here I fussy cut out this out of a magazine, so that's ready to go in one day, and I just sort of collaging a little bit. Now I think, and then on the back I think I do the butterflies. So sometimes on the back of the, I use the front of the book for one, you know, got happy birthdays and sort of just miscellaneous stuff. And then on the back I've got, sorry ladies, and then on the back I've got the butterflies. So front, because I've got on here miscellaneous and butterflies, so front, and then on the back I've got the butterflies. And again, just bits of scrap of napkins that I've come across that I've used. And I just wanted to empty my box. So, and it's already, you know, on paper. That's what I like about it. They're not big pieces. I didn't have much. Now here I actually collaged, and I had this beautiful flower. It was in a book, and I cut that out, and it's just really, really pretty. So I can either use that part, and I can use that part. But yeah, so that's what I do with my gutted books. So I hope that gives you a bit of an insight what you can do if you're going to be stuck with some of these. but I have fun making them. So like I said, calendars, I don't waste them. If I can get hold of one, I ask, or I keep them for myself. So they're the two tags I've made. I'll just zoom back out again. Sorry, ladies. I might just get that away. You can have a look at my dirty mat. So yeah, so they're my tags that I made. So that's what I wanted to share with you. It's a busy day here at home today, and I'm filming this just after lunch, so I didn't get to film it last night. So yeah, just some ideas. Nothing goes to waste. And I've also made some, just trying to get rid of my scraps. I made some little clusters with paper, ribbon. I want to make another boho journal. So yeah, so it's just a matter of just getting rid of a lot of scraps. There's that there. And I'm also buttons, I've got a lot of buttons. But, nothing goes to waste. And if I just want to doodle a little bit at night time while dinner's cooking, I take my bag of scraps of paper, my box of scraps of paper, a jar of mixed buttons, and some lace and a stapler. And away I go, and needle and thread. And then, while dinner's cooking, that's what I do. Because we've got a big country kitchen, so it's an eating kitchen. And that's all. Fantastic. So I hope you're all having a great day. And please, everyone, stay safe with what's happening in the world at the moment. If you have to self-isolate and you're a crafter, well, that's no problem for us. All right, ladies, until next time, have a great day. Have a good week. Stay safe and happy crafting. Bye for now.